Hi there, welcome to Nepi Invest. Spectre is a company that I've held for a fair long time. I can't remember exactly when I bought some shares in this company. The main reason I bought some shares in Spectre was simply because of the valuation, less than $10 million for a company that is growing, albeit at a slow pace, that I do think will become operational cash flow positive on a continuous basis. They have had quarters in the past where they were operational cash flow positive, and I think we'll definitely get to that point, or this company will get to that point, particularly if they start expanding rapidly through the rest of Australia and even into New Zealand. So in this video, I'm going to look at Spectre's September quarter Appendix 4C. This was a request from a viewer, but I was thinking of doing a video on this company anyway. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I am a shareholder, but I do like the fact that this company's valuation is fairly low. Even though the share price has increased from when I bought, we still see a markup less than $10 million. What does Spectre do? Well, they deploy or have solar-powered security systems that autonomously sense, think, and act using AI and Internet of Things connectivity to protect a sensitive or remote site that the customer is interested in protecting. These systems are used to stop illegal dumping, stop or deter theft, warn against danger, or simply to check progress on projects. Spectre was founded in 2009 by Richard Wilkins, not that Richard Wilkins, a different Richard Wilkins, and he currently has a 3% stake. I'm not sure what his involvement in the company is because he's no longer the managing director or CEO. That belongs to Gerard Dyson. He has a 1.4% stake in this company. Spectre listed on the ASX in July 2017, and we did see the share price struggle for a long period of time after they did list. And the biggest shareholders in this company right now are just individual investors, which means there's no fund managers out there that are interested in this company. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually interested in Spectre, because there's no fund managers out there that are interested. And once we get fund managers interested, particularly if Spectre can become profitable and operating cash flow positive, that's when we see or will see a significant re-rating in this company's valuation and share price, because right now the markup of Spectre is only $9.7 million. That's at 9 cents. It's been as low as $5 million when I bought in, and the ticker for this company is SP3. Spectre is not a sexy sort of company. It's not a SaaS company. It's not growing really quickly. And if we look at the financial year 21 numbers, revenue grew from 4.8 million to 5.25 million, and the company's operational cash flow positive and loss making by fairly small numbers, but still they are negative. And if the management of this company can turn those around to positive, that will be the inflection point for this company, and that's when we might see the share price of this company and the valuation of this company re-rate. About $1 million of net cash at the end of financial year 21, and the price to sales ratio is only 1.8, so not too stretched, but you would expect that because the markup is less than $10 million right now. And the reason I like to invest in these sort of companies, these small companies, is because the risk reward is highly swayed towards the reward. There's not much risk in these sort of companies, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this be a 10-bagger over the next few years if they can become profitable, and even potentially even a bigger bagger if they become highly operational cash flow positive, highly profitable, and they start expanding rapidly through Australia and overseas. That's the possibility, but there is that possibility, and the downside to this business is much less than the upside at these valuations. And that's why I invest in these sort of companies. Not all of them do become successful, but the ones that do, the returns are quite significant. Before we have a look at the most recent September quarter Appendix 4C, just want to go back 1 year in time just to see how they're performing this time in 2020, which would be the first quarter of financial year 21. Receipts of customers, $1 million. Now, Spectre was affected by COVID-19. You'll be able to see that in the cash receipts history. And even though they only had receipts of $1 million, they were only operational cash flow negative by 325. And one of the reasons why that seems a little bit low is they did receive $323,000 in government grants and tax incentives. They did a capital raising, $1.5 million capital raising, and that's why the cash on hand increased from $1.6 million to $2.7 million. Now let's have a look at the most recent Appendix 4C to see if things have turned around for this company, because at this point last year, things were looking quite bleak because cash receipts were flat or even going down. And things do look promising for Spectre. It does look like they have turned business around. You'll be able to see this when I show you the cash receipts history in the next slide. But receipts from customers have increased from about just above 1 million to 1.7 million. Now, the company has increased product manufacturing and operating costs to 677,000 and staff costs to 1.1 million. And because they've increased some of their costs, they're not operational cash flow positive for this quarter. They were operational cash flow positive for the previous quarter, but not this quarter. So operational cash flow negative by 681,000, and because they did bleed a little bit of cash, cash on hand did fall from 1.7 million to 919,000. Now, if they don't correct that cash flow negativity, there could be another capital raising in this company's future. So that's a definite possibility if they don't become operational cash flow positive in the next few quarters. I did mention that Spectre was negatively affected by COVID-19. It definitely was, because we did see a dip in cash receipts during 2020 and even into the start of 2021. But cash receipts actually did level off just prior to COVID-19. So I don't think all of the decrease in cash receipts can be totally attributable to COVID-19. There could be some other reasons there as well. But we have seen cash receipts increase over the past few quarters. In fact, the last 2 quarters were record quarters for this company in regards to cash receipts. And if we calculate the compound quarterly growth in cash receipts since September quarter 2017, we are seeing receipts growing at about 10% per quarter. So hopefully Spectre can continue this moving forward. As a shareholder, I love to see cash receipts even accelerate from here. I think more than likely it won't, but I don't mind a company growing slowly like Spectre is doing, because you can find good value in these sort of companies. I think Spectre right now is fairly good value at around about $9 to $10 million market cap. I do like that Spectre includes this table or this chart in their Appendix 4Cs, looking at the net cash flow in the business. This is slightly different than operating cash flow because it also includes investing and financing activities. And I think the reason they want to show this is because the company's net cash flow can be quite volatile or lumpy. And the June quarter of 2021, the last quarter of the financial year, Spectre was cash flow positive by over $200,000. And they've gone to operational cash flow negative and net cash flow negative in the most recent quarter because they increased their product manufacturing and operating costs. And typically when they do that for one quarter, you usually see those costs decrease over the next few quarters. So there is a chance that Spectre will become operational cash flow positive and net cash flow positive in the next few quarters, particularly if they can increase the cash receipts over those quarters. So I look forward to seeing how Spectre perform in the next 2 quarters. There's no reason why I will be thinking about selling out of my Spectre shares right now, because with a market cap of less than $10 million, I still think there's much more potential upside than any downside. In fact, I have been thinking about buying more shares if the share price dips below about 8 or even 7 cents. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the share price does over the next few months, and then hopefully they release an absolutely stellar December quarter Appendix 4C, and maybe that will be the catalyst for the re-rating in this company's share price. As we turn our attention to Spectre's weekly chart, since they listed on the ASX back in 2017, interestingly enough, the share price high for this company was during the first week they were listed. Share price reached a high of about 52 cents. But during a period from about 2018 to the middle of 2020 or towards the end of 2020, the share price of Spectre was in a well defined downtrend, falling from the mid-30 range all the way to a low of 4 cents during the COVID-19 financial panic. But during 2020, we just saw the share price consolidate between about 4 cents and 6 cents, actually between about 5 cents and 7 cents, we will say. And in November, December of last year, we saw a potential breakout. We saw the share price move out of that consolidation period on high volume. But it was sort of a false breakout, but then we saw the share price then consolidate as the three moving averages came together. That's another good sign that the selling had stopped, and all we were waiting for was a breakout to the upside, preferably on some good financial news. We haven't really seen that outbreak. The share price has slowly increased. In fact, the share price reached a high of 12 cents a few months ago. The share price right now is at 9.2 cents. Does look like there is potential. The share price is moving into a fairly weak weekly uptrend, but definitely the downtrend we did see between 2018 and the end of 2020 has come to a completion. And it does look like there's more potential for upside than downside from here on in, particularly if we don't see any negative financial news from the company. As we turn our attention to Spectre's daily chart that goes back 1 year, let's just focus on what happened on November 24, 2020, because that was a breakout in the share price from that consolidation period during most of 2020 when the shares of this company traded between 5 and 7 cents. On that day, November 24, the company released a sales update, and the market absolutely loved that update. Share price increased 32% on massive volume. As you see, a massive spike in volume on that day. Over 24 million shares were traded, maybe 22 million shares were traded, when the typical amount of shares traded on a day-by-day basis is less than 1 million. And that's what I mean by a massive spike in volume. You'll always want to see a spike in volume accompanying an increase in share price, or the other way around, an increase in share price accompanied by high volume, because that shows you the market is interested. And when the market is interested in that sort of announcement, there is more potential that the breakout will succeed. Now, to be honest with you, nothing too exciting when we look at the daily chart over the past year. We have seen a share price reach a high of 12 cents in August of this year, but then we have seen a share price pull back from there. The main concerning thing, it's not concerning thing, is just the lack of volume over the past few months. Not a lot of shares are traded in this company. So the way to view that is the market is not yet interested in the potential of this company. It's mostly retail investors who are trading this company. We need some fund managers to get interested in Spectre to drive up the share price. And the best way to get fund managers interested in Spectre is to become profitable and operational cash flow positive on a continuous basis. And hopefully, as a shareholder, they will do that sooner than later. That's all I have for this September quarter Appendix 4C video for Spectre. If you have any questions about this company or any other company on the ASX, I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your questions. So leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need to seek financial advice, make sure you find someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.